Good evening, everybody. My name is Marco Mazia. I am a volunteer for the Marie Curie Alumni Association, in particular for the Bridging Science to Business Working Group. We organize a series of webinars about how to bridge the innovation gap, okay? So, and helping researchers to be more innovative or and learn more about how the private sector works. We have many webinars lined up for the next few weeks. We had in particular some in this series from the EIT, the European Institute for Innovation and Technology. We had the EIT Health last month, and now this month and the next month, EIT Food. So in this webinar, we are going to learn about the programs, the educational programs that are available for researchers who like to move into the sector of food innovation. So now we have four speakers. One hasn't joined yet, so I will introduce just the ones we have in this for the moment. So let me first start with Dr. Krista Dimaki. She's a program manager at the Technical University of Munich, Office for Research and Innovation. She supports students and academic startups with high quality training boot camps in entrepreneurship and venture creation. And she is the activity lead for the Global Food Venture Program of the EIT Food. Then we have Dr. Martin van der Kamp. He's Director of Education for EIT Food with a background of professorship in entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship and sustainability at the Cranfield School of Management. And Dr. Mario Roccaro, who's the program manager at the EIT Food. He used to work at the DG EAC and the unit for the Marie Curie actions, so he's very near to our community. The fourth speaker, who has just joined, sorry, is Catarina Oliveira, PhD student of environmental engineering at the University of Lisbon, and she was the winner of the Global Food Venture Program in 2019. She started a company called the Fiber Globe, and she will let us know more about it later. So after this short introduction, I will leave the floor to Martin, who will make an introduction about the EIT Food.
Thank you very much, Marco, and good evening to you all. Very much a pleasure to be with you today and to be able to talk a little bit more about what we do and what EIT Food is about, and the kind of the programs that might be of interest to you. So I hope that you can someone confirm that my screen is visible?
That's fine.
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you very much. So we as EIT Food, we're part of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, which is there to actually support innovation and sort of entrepreneurship across the whole of Europe. And as Marco was already referring to, we've got a number of different knowledge innovation communities that are all focusing on a particular kind of area. And in our case, we focus very much on the entire food system and all of the components that are there. And so what we're really trying to do there is to solve particular challenges that we know exist in and around the food system. And so part of those are really about how a society is working and how it's sort of how the role of food in the sort of in our everyday life. But of course, there's also a component on the environmental challenges that food production poses and what we want to address there. But then, because we are part of the European Institutes of Innovation and Technology, we also have very much a focus on sort of the entrepreneurial culture that exists in and around the food system, and to try and strengthen that. Sort of compared to other sectors, the food sector, really going from farm to fork, is not very innovative. And so we are trying to address that by supporting and sort of all of the actors in the food system to go into more forms of innovation, often open innovation, but also that really that skills support that actually people are more effective in driving innovations forward. So we know that the skills that are required in our food systems thinking, that they are different from what we from what normally people would get through disciplinary kind of education. So traditionally, food scientists would get a very strong kind of support in sort of and education in food science, but might not necessarily know much about either the farming community or about how consumers work with a particular kind of food products, etc. So we know that there are new skills that are required to really have this systems thinking and entire sort of approach in order to solve the challenges that we have across the food system. But also, there are so many different actors involved. The food system is very fragmented. And so there's also the skills required actually to really effectively connect all the dots throughout the entire food system. So that's what we're working on. So what do those new skills consist of? Well, they are very much in kind of the leadership, entrepreneurship, but also really about critical thinking, problem solving, which of course you already do very, very well as MSCA fellows. But sort of more broadly, it's something that we're really trying to stimulate and make sure that the skills for the future are being covered by our programs. Now, why is that relevant, and why is that relevant for you? Here are some worrying statistics in that regard. There are loads and loads of brilliant scientists that are being educated, but the number of academic positions that are available to them to actually go into a long-term academic career, that's very limited. And so the ratio of PhD students that will end up in a long-term academic career is about 1 in 10 students. For postdocs, it's slightly better. It's about 2 in 10 that will be able to migrate into a full academic position. Now, that, of course, means that there is a lot about skills, about employability that is really relevant to think about wherever you are in your academic and your career as a researcher. So first of all, the researchers that have broad transferable skills are actually going to be more likely to be able to continue in academic track positions because of the additional skills that they bring in. But also that allows the PhDs and postdocs to also look at career options outside of academia or that are related to academia in some way, rather than to go for a completely academic track. So the skills that we talk about today, and the 2 programs that we want to introduce you to, are covering some of those essential skills that both will make you a better researcher, but that will also enhance your career options as well. So we're talking here, this is a study that Marie Curie did about which skills are actually being offered as part of the mix of the various programs that are there. And we're talking here about the skills that are mostly at the lower end here, where there's not that much support for intellectual property rights management, how to deal with entrepreneurship, how to actually bring a product or service to market. So this is where we really want to strengthen the offering that is currently available, and to make sure that as researchers, you harness those skills, you know how to use them so that you can be more effective as innovators. So this is also, we're talking here about pathways to impact, and you will undoubtedly have heard about this in your supervisor or your line manager talking about how this works. So you're already involved in responsible research and innovation. But then how do we get to impact? So how can we talk about that? And what impact pathways can we imagine? So imagine actually your work that you're doing in the lab, in your research is some sort of an invention, but for that to be adopted by society, there's a bit of a process alongside of it. And what we help you with these programs is actually to solve some of those pieces of the puzzle of what do you need in terms of skills, but also ways of thinking to get to that point. So your research and the broad research that you're in has a particular kind of career. You're working on a particular moment in time, and your research can go into a number of different directions, and it is you who can make a difference to that. So some of the trajectories for the impact that your research can take are not going to be very viable. So they might be very short, and you might end up thinking of, well, that doesn't really work. But there are a number of different ways that you can think about that impact that you can achieve through looking at what is the impact on society, but also what is the impact on maybe the economy. How could this help in innovations that are being created, or sort of better jobs that are being created, etc. And so those impact pathways are in the middle are really your key on this. And both programs that we want to talk to you about are actually helping you figure out what might be viable impact pathways. Now, the programs that we want to talk to you about, the first one is the Global Food Venture Program, and the second one is the Innovator Fellowship. The first one is aimed at PhD students. The second one is aimed at postdocs. And what they share and what they have in common is really that focus on impact, thinking about your research and thinking about how can you create impact with your research. What does that look like? Then we combine that with experiential learning. That is a very fancy way of saying learning by doing. So you get to work on your research in a way and mobilize that to think about that impact piece. And we bring in the leaders in the field to help you think through how you can achieve that impact. Then there are a number of components in terms of virtual and mobility that we want to bring in. At least the COVID times, it has to be virtual, but to really make sure that you mix and expand your network. But you also get access to our network of innovators across Europe that are already working in the sector. So you also get access to about 3,000, a bit over 3,000 innovators that some of them might work in industry, some of them might work in research institutes, some of them will be working like you as students or postdocs in in institutional settings, but you get access to the network in order to actually broaden out and getting the resources in order to carry out your ideas once you've got an idea on how you want to create impact. So with that, I would like to hand you over to Krista Dimaki, who's going to tell you more about how the Global Food Venture Program works. So this is the program particularly for PhD students on this one. Krista, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Martin, for giving me the stage. Give me 1 second to share my screen. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So hello, everybody. Really happy to be here with you. My name is Krista Dimaki. I come from the Technical University of Munich. I'm a program manager in Entrepreneurship, and I'm the activity lead of the Global Food Venture Program of EIT Food, which is really an excellent entrepreneurship education mobility program offered exclusively to PhD students in Europe. So the goal of our program is to cultivate this entrepreneurial mindset in talented doctoral students like you, but at the same time, we want to equip them with the necessary skills and knowledge and network so they can either start viable ventures in the food space or become successful innovators and entrepreneurs in either academic or industry environments. So what we are looking at this point, and we are recruiting our PhD students that they want to explore entrepreneurship as a potential career path. They would like to gain skills in business creation, and above all, they're highly motivated to deliver impact in food systems. So the Global Food Venture Program is actually divided into two stages, stage 1 and stage 2. You can apply to either or you can apply to both. And if you are selected, then you'll have the chance to complete both stages within 1 year. So those two stages, they differ significantly when it comes to scope, content, and also entry criteria. The stage 1, idea development. There you will be exposed to the challenges of food and agriculture. You will generate ideas that will provide solutions to the challenges of the food sector. You will gain essential entrepreneurial skills, and you will find out what it takes to commercialize your PhD research. For stage 2, business incubation, you will need to provide a solid description of a business idea. And this is basically the major difference when it comes to entry criteria. So the stage 2 program will help you to validate this business idea, to increase the TRL, and also build a business development roadmap that will help you to take this idea to the next level and one step closer to the market. The Global Food Venture Program is really a unique 6-month entrepreneurial journey. If you decide to apply for stage 1, then you will attend a summer school, which is organized by our partners in Madrid. You will be offered online courses on food systems and take part in a final networking matchmaking event. You will gain all the essential entrepreneurial skills. You will form teams, and those teams you will generate ideas. At the end of the summer school, there's going to be a final pitch competition where you will present those ideas, and the best ones will be offered a place in stage 2 within the same year. If you apply for stage 2 and you are successful, you will kick off with the incubation bootcamp, which is organized by our partners in Lausanne. And you will be offered an online course in business growth. Later in September, there's going to be another business immersion bootcamp with international experts and a lot of industry interaction. And the stage 2 will conclude to a final pitch competition where we will select the best startup projects of stage 2 and award cash prizes up to 10K. So within this 6-month entrepreneurial journey, you will have the support of mentors from the Global Food Venture Program with business coaching, and at the same time, you will have the possibility to apply for a mobility grant that will facilitate business meetings, which in this year can be either online or it can be in blended format. So whatever stage you decide to go for, in any case, the program is going to offer you an international and inspiring environment. As Martin said before, experiential learning, hands-on work on real solutions, insight in key innovation ecosystems and entrepreneurial cultures, and also a lot of training in entrepreneurship and venture creation, which, for example, includes business planning, effective communications, negotiations, leadership, how to secure your intellectual property, design thinking, and many more technical skills and other underpinning capabilities. You will get the access to the EIT Food Partner Network. You will advance your business idea, and you will get to network with top coaches, industry experts, successful agri-food startups, business angels, investors, and of course, other like-minded PhD students. So the program has been running successfully now for 3 years. We have supported so far 111 PhD students coming from 23 European countries, 61 academic institutes with 43 nationalities really from across the globe. We have a ratio of male to female of 50%. We have organized 9 bootcamps in 5 key ecosystems in Europe, in Israel, in Silicon Valley, taken part in 3 global networking events, awarded 11 prizes for the most promising business ideas. And we are proud to have supported 61 startup projects in food and agtech, all coming from PhD students. In 2020, we were also awarded the prestigious EIT label for excellent entrepreneurship programs. And I would have liked to share with you literally hundreds of testimonials from our participants that they are saying amazing things from the program. But I'm very happy now to give this stage to Katerina, that she was the winner of the Global Food Venture Program 2019, and she will share her experience with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Krisa, for giving me the floor. Thank you. And I will try to share my screen. Oops. I hope you can see. You can see?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. You see full screen, or yeah, now I think you see full screen. So hi everyone, I'm Katerina, and as Krisa said, and 2 years ago, I was one of you sitting in my lab, thinking about how I can transfer this research and academic knowledge to a real application in the market, in the business, into industry actually. And was my first ambition to apply for a global food venture program. And hopefully I was selected for a first stage. And in 2019, it was divided in 4 phases. I was only applied for the first stage, but was divided into summer school, as Krisa said, pre-incubation bootcamp, international bootcamp, and the final pitch competition. During all these 4 phases, we were mentored by one-to-one with the experts and professionals from EIT Food network community. Well, first stage, we were really 40 PhD students. We were first exposed from a research perspective to an entrepreneurship mindset. Was a really big deconstruction, as we are PhDs, as we are researchers, but really important, at least for most of us. We gain experience, we gain the first knowledge about the emergent trends in the food technology and the food innovation. We understood how we can engage different audience, how we can communicate with different public, and also how create the team building spirits, because we had design thinking. All the exercises that we were exposed were really important for us. And also, of course, the first concepts of a business, of a startup world, how we can connect, how we can communicate in the same languages. For example, understand how we can show and pitch our value proposition, how we can engage the customer, what is the difference between early adopters, the customer, the targets. And yes. So for the second stage, I was lucky enough to be selected for a pre-incubation bootcamp. We were 22 PhDs. We were really focused on pitching, how we can translate our research really into a business idea. And then 15 of us flew to international bootcamp in San Francisco in Silicon Valley. And there we gained the experience and understood how Americans do their business, and how we only as an individual, we established our network really, really fast. During all this period, as I said, we were mentored by one-to-one, and in my case, was with Chris from Catholic University of Leuven. He showed me and he gave me the opportunity also to explore different partnerships within the EIT community. At the end, in the final competition in Lisbon, we between the 15 amazing ideas, mine was selected as a first prize. And for me, it was an opportunity and also an open doors for Fiber Globe. And just a brief overview of Fiber Globe. We were all aware that substrate and soil are the fundamental resource to grow our food, our crops, our plants. And it's where food begins. So it's based in a circular economy approach where we will use waste streams from one industry and convert them into a usable substrate that help growers produce high quality food and for a healthier future. And the major learning for Fiber Globe and for myself as well was that we are really able to, with the important and with the essential network, we can establish the link between the lab to a pilot scale application. And after, we can also go to the market if we have the right people around us and if we find the right network as well. And throughout this process, we see and we can find the power of the value chain of our industry or the place of the industry that we can fit. To understand also how we can create a sustainable business model to go to the market. And if you already feel some butterflies in your stomach, and it's normal, because I also did, and I keep feeling that, it's the big opportunity, and the opportunity is now to go for your venture, because the network, the collaboration, and the partnership that EIT Food can give to you, it's unique. Thank you.
Thank you, Katerina, so much. And now we move to Mario.
Yes.
With the Innovator Fellowship.
Wait for Martin sharing. And if you can go directly to the next slide, Martin. Okay, thank you very much. So good afternoon, everyone. And now is the turn of Innovator Fellowship. Innovator Fellowship is a program dedicated to postdoctoral fellow. It's a program which tries to have an impact in agri-food system by transforming a lab ideas to a business idea. But it's also a program that basically try to boost your career path and enrich your portfolio of skills. And we have heard about which type of skills in the previous presentation. We talk about entrepreneurial skill and so on. But let me reiterate something that has been touched by Martin at the very beginning of the presentation. When we look at the case study that has been done in 2017, we saw that a postdoctoral fellow long-term aspiration is to work in academia. And this is true no matter to which field of science you look at, whether it's life science or social science and humanities. But we have heard also from Martin that, and this goes, you can go to the next slide, Martin, that it's very difficult to find position in academia. Actually, although there is this strong wish, there is few position available. Also, sometimes the skills that the postdocs or the researcher are equipped with are not sufficient to overcome the scarcity of job position. And mostly we have seen that there is a tendency to basically acquire research skills and less about how to commercialize an idea, how to bring a product or service in the market. And on top of that, we have also a sort of recalcitrant attitude from the academic institution to not to mainstream entrepreneurial skills in their curricula, and therefore this complicate even more the possibility to find or to transform the idea that lie on one of the drawers of the lab in a business idea. And if you go to the next slide, this is why we have created basically Innovator Fellowship. And in what has Innovator Fellowship to offer? Basically is an environment, well, I believe that is an environment where the aspiration of postdoctoral fellow can be satisfied. And it's an environment where collaborative efforts to learn to collaborate, which is not so trivial, comes about. Interaction with other partners, this is a fundamental, with other fellows, this is a fundamental difference with the global food venture, whereas there you are in a single fellow bringing about an idea. In Innovator Fellowship, you are creating teams, and in the teams you can synergize, you can bring your different skills and attitude in order to then transform this idea in business idea. And we also we also are basically coming up with skills that you have already heard in the previous talk. We offer you a hardcore business skills, business planning and business modeling. We also gives you, emerging, what is an emerging digital literacy and emerging technology, and we expose you to an hackathon. The hackathon will be the very first step where the team consolidate an idea and then pitch the idea in order to go then to the following stage of Innovator Fellowship. And Martin, you can go to the next stage. As of course, postdoc can participate. You need to have a PhD before the closure of Innovator Fellowship call, but also if you don't have a PhD, but you have a master and sufficient number of research and innovation activity experience, like would be 4 years, then you can participate. It's easy. You just go to the Dream Apply page, which is our landing page for applying to put your application. You fill up a form. You also fill up an idea form, which allow us then to select the best candidate based on the skill, on the curriculum, but also based on what type of idea, what is the impact that the person was coming, what the fellow want to give in the agri-food system. And please go to the next slide. I think this the most important one is the timeline. How does the program take shape? Well, after the closure, we will basically take a couple of weeks to select around 50 candidates. These 50 candidates will then go through a series of activity, which will try to meet each other, know each other. We talk about virtual environment, of course, due to the COVID. And teams will start to form. And once the team is formed, the idea will be further developed. The idea will be transformed. Contribution will come from each of the fellows in order to make the idea a stronger business case to reach the foodathon. At the foodathon, mentorship come in and to support even further the idea. And once the foodathon is concluded, the winning ideas will go then to 2 sets of training. Now you are all busy postdoctoral fellow working in the lab. We are thinking to do the 2 sets of training in a period of the week where you are less, let's say, busy with the laboratory. We are talking about teams coming to this training, and we are thinking of basically establish activities that will be done Friday, Saturday, where is more availability for dedicating to new educational activities. Like you have seen before, the timeline, well, the program will culminate with a final event around the 15th of December, where then the mature idea will be pitched, the business idea will be pitched in front of a committee, and then an award ceremony will be then set up. If you can go to the next slide, Martin. These are the challenge, a list of challenge that we basically propose to the fellows so that the idea can be matched to one of these challenges. They are very broad. They actually embrace also our focus area in the EIT Food. But I mean, food is an extremely transversal type of sector. You go from engineering to life science to health to psychology to consumer behavior and so on. And we believe we have covered them all. The next slide, please, Martin. And these are the area of the training that we will offer. Again, a sort of a reiteration of what has been present in Global Food Venture. We offer leadership and organizational skill training, business analysis, modeling, and planning. This is the core of our activity. We will have public engagement and communication skills and design thinking. And all together, this will shape more and more your idea to have at the end a full proposal that can be used to present to other programs, European programs or EIT Food programs, in order to mature your idea and become a startup. I think there is one more slide. This is basically our EIT Food competence framework. All what we do is basically embracing this type of competencies, and we are working very hard to deliver to you a certificate which is valid when you move from one activity, from one job to another, so that this training will have its own validity and you can demonstrate the type of skills that you have acquired. I think we go now to the call for action. I think this is a resume of what we have discussed today. On one side, we have the Global Food Venture program with the key characteristic. We have two-stage activities. One is the first, where you have the development of an idea and the business incubation, respectively, on stage 1 and stage 2. Then a summer school and a training boot camp has been described by Krista, with a lot of mentoring inside. Finally, the key dates to keep in mind is deadline, the stage 1, the 2nd of May, and the stage 2, the 20th of May. Please start to apply to Global Food Venture then. And the program will start stage 1 on the 25th of May, whereas stage 2 on 28th of June. And the eligibility criteria, of course, is a program for PhD student, as specified here. On the other side, on the right-hand side panel, the Postdoctoral Innovator Fellowship, key characteristic: experiencing an intense hackathon, high-level skill training, the 3I ecosystem, international, intersectorial, and interdisciplinary, mentoring along the program. Mentoring is common to both, not only mentoring, but it's one of the things that is in common with the two action, with the two programs. Deadline, the 14th of May, start of the program with the Foodathon on the 16th of July, and eligibility criteria: have a PhD or a master plus 4 years of research and innovation experience. All disciplines are welcome in both. So we have said that the food is a transversal type of activities that involve many different fields, and we are eager to receive application from any discipline. And with this, I stop here, and we open the floor for a question and answer.
Okay, so thanks a lot to the four of you. It was a very inspiring presentation, and I actually didn't know about the Innovator Fellowships, and I only knew the Global Food Venture program, which I already found very good, and the Innovator Fellowship seems really a great program too. And basically, as you said, they are already good just for the skill training, right? So even if a person doesn't want to start a company, but just for that skill training, they are amazing programs. And of course, if they are successful as Katerina or others, of your fellows, for sure, it's also a great experience. So I see that we have a couple of questions. So I first go to read the two questions. One was asked when the Global Food Venture Program was introduced, and person asked if it's available only for PhDs, or is there any intention to make it available to master students too? And also, since it's the same person asking these two questions, do you have to be attached to a European institution or be a European citizen to take advantage of, he says, this opportunity, but I would say these opportunities?
So let me take that one. For master's programs, those we've got other programs as well. So here, because you're all Marie Curie Fellows, we focused on the ones that are going to be most relevant, but we've got other programs as well. So we've got, for example, our summer schools that are doing the same thing, but in a more condensed way, but they are more open for a master's sort of audience there. So if that is an interest, go to the EIT Food website and check on their education, what is there, because you'll see the various programs coming up there. With regards to affiliation, no, all sort of applicants are very welcome to this. So you don't have to be an EU citizen. You don't have to be associated with an an institution necessarily in the European Union either. But this is one where, of course, yeah, we're talking here to Marie Curie Fellows, so you will be associated with either Horizon Europe countries, or sort of associated countries, or the EU 27. So this is one where we would sort of expect that the strongest cohort, of course, is going to come from the European Union or the Horizon Europe associated countries, which, yeah, check the status of your country where that is there. The other thing that I would say, Marco, on your point, these skills are absolutely essential to think about, even if you are going to have a longer term career as an academic. So imagine that you're going to be writing a sort of a funding proposal. You're going to need to know how to deal with, for example, the finances, and to draw up a credible budget for this, and understand kind of what is going to happen there. You're going to need to communicate effectively. You're going to need to pitch to a panel to actually convince them that you have the best idea. So all of these skills are actually also completely sort of usable within an academic context as well. And remember what I said at the start, they're also going to make you a more suitable, and they are the skills that are the universities are also looking for in terms of their long-term employees, to be able to do all of those additional things. So pitching, budgeting, being able to communicate effectively, taking leadership, being able to take a real team player role, they are all those skills that are very much in demand wherever you look in terms of employment criteria. So that's something that we certainly would, and that's something that we also see from our alumni, that those are the qualities that are really valued in employers wherever they might be for having those skills.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, yeah, I totally agree with you. Those skills are really important, but there is a lot of discussion about that, right? So I would like to do a bit of discussion with you about this point, because I think that you or Mario showed all the skills that are considered by Marie Curie Fellows, right? And there is publishing, there is problem solving. There are a lot of them. There are like 15 of them, right? And now the question that I get asked many times by doctoral students is, so for us, it's impossible to focus on our research and our skills training and get all those skills. So how should I prioritize? Which one should I choose?
I think, Katarina, you can sort of come in here as having done it. So I think you would be the person to answer on this. Kind of, how did you combine this?
Yes, it's possible, it's doable, but I need to say that you need to be ready to be deconstructed, to combine both, because sometimes you're too focused when you are a PhD, and then it's really good when you have the open, not only open mind, but open the curiosity that move you in the research, also the curiosity that can combine you with the different skills and different, yeah, and this is the opportunity to be ready. Yes, I think.
Okay, this is a very good point. Thank you, Katerina. And since you are with the open mic, I also ask another question to Katerina. So, as you said, it can be a bit distracting, let's say, from your main focus as doctoral student or as postdoc, right? So how can you balance your bench time with your, let's say, startup time? And then how does it affect the work-life balance?
Yeah, it's a combination of both, right? It's when you do by your ambition. Yes, it's a combination. It's like the right steps to do. So you find your way if you make your uncomfortable to feel that how you can guide yourself in this research, academic, startup, business market. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Must be a very exciting experience, actually. Okay, so since Martin mentioned about the summer schools, actually we are gonna have a webinar next month about this topic. So I'm going to write it on the chat so everybody knows the link to the registration page for the next webinar, and you can all register there right now so you don't forget. And okay, so let me ask more questions. Yeah, this is both for Krisa and for Mario. Mario actually said that it's very interdisciplinary, so you accept people from many backgrounds. But as for the global food venture, do you need to have a background like in food studies, agriculture, or things like that, or is it open to everybody with any background?
Yes, Marco, the truth is it's open to everybody. And this is because literally every background, scientific background that I can think of can have an impact in the agri-food sector across the agri-food value chain. You can be an engineer and you can have an impact. You can be an IT, you can be a chemist, you can be a nutritionist, you can be a food technologist. It's like literally almost everyone can contribute to to make the food system better. And if the interest is there and the willingness to create solutions for the food sector, then the scientific background, it's really it really doesn't matter. So you don't have to be like a classical food technologist, right, or have studied agriculture. And we did have that. We have a lot of ITs, we have a lot of engineers, we have forestry, we even had a lawyer because there are also environmental issues. Yes.
Okay, and then do you have an idea of the impact of having highly educated people, like in your case, doctoral students, in Mario's case, even postdoctoral fellows? So do you have a measure of the impact of having such educated people?
Mario, do you want to take this?
Yes, I mean, it's actually interesting to see that there are strong motivation to participate in this program, to acquire these skills. What comes to my mind is a couple of quotes from postdoctoral fellow participating in the previous years. By the way, we had also example of Marie Skłodowska-Curie individual fellowship participating already in the Innovator Fellowship. And one postdoc, female postdoc, in an interview say, I would say, knows your number because I didn't know mine, referring exactly to the entrepreneurial and business skills. Now, we also know that some of the fellows, they do end up to have very good startups, very strong startups. Not only Katerina, but we have also other example of talents which have ended up with the startups. Actually, Martin, is 33 the number of startups created within the programs that we offer, the educational program we offer. So therefore, this impact is there, and the fact that they anyway are highly educated. I would like also to link, just 1 second, with the fact that even if you do basic science, still, you know, it's an important bridge to apply your basic science to society to solve some problems.
I see. Okay, thank you. And Mario, since you are here, you mentioned young professionals. So how old is a young professional?
Yes, if I can ask Mina to mute. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, Mina. There is no an age. You know, and like when you are born and which year you are born. There may be a scientific age, if you like, or an educational age, but we don't impose limit. What we want is, you know, a person which is motivated, a fellow which is motivated to transform the food system and to bring an impact to the agri-food system.
I see. Okay, good. Thank you. There are 2 more questions on the Q&A. And one is, are there any tips on how person can be better able to transition your work to innovative business project and how to come out of an academic mindset?
Shall I take this one? I think a lot of this is actually, I think asking this question is already your first step in terms of understanding that the sort of the mindset of an academic might not necessarily be about how to transform it into business, but actually being aware of this is a really important component. I think the key question, and I'd be very keen, interested to hear sort of the other speakers on this as well. But I think a key one is to think about impact and to think about how is my research actually going to transform the lives of individuals. And once you've got an idea there, then you're again another step further where you understand of, okay, where is this going to sit? Who is going to benefit from this? And how might they benefit from this? And then in terms of getting the right skills, sort of to think more in terms of a business case, in terms of the kind of funding that you might need, in terms of the team that you might need to commercialize that, that is where our programs are there to help you on this. But I think that mindset is really about, so my analogy is, of course, is always that as an entrepreneurial mindset is about problem solving, but in a very pragmatic and practical way. So it's not about the blue skies thinking and about imagining what the world might be like in 10, 20 years time, but it's more about, hey, I observe in a problem and how can I help solve this, and to have the passion and to fall in love with the problem rather than to fall in love with any particular solution. And the more that you're in love with the problem, the more that you're going to see different avenues of actually solving that and to be very creative around this. So I think those are, for me, would be the key components. But as I said, I would be very keen to hear what the others are saying on this one as well.
Well, I think one component of the both program is the mentoring characteristics. Once you are inside, when you participate to this, somehow you grow inside the programs. You become more eager to have an impact in the society or in the sectors. In the case of the Agri-Food sector, and the mentor is there to basically guide you and to make you understand what's going on with your idea, whether it's really a valuable idea or not. So it really bridges you a little bit from the academia setting to what is then a business setting. And this is really, really helpful. And we had neuroscientists participating to our Innovator Fellowship. And in this case, again, another female fellows say, I had no idea that I could reach this point, that I could transform my knowledge of how brain function works in something so practical. So that's the way I think participating on it.
I think those skills that you gain in both programs, they really complete you as a professional and also as a researcher. And we do get these testimonials a lot from the participants, where they say this was like a life-changing event for me, and it has taken me out of my academic comfort zone and put me, to the real world. This is really the feedback that we get.
Yeah,
yes, it's true. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Katarina.
Yes, I would just to say on the top of Krisa is that we, as a PhDs, as an academics, we are used to work most of the time alone, depending on our teams, on our labs, and our supervisors. But in fact, it's like, even if we are alone, we are not alone. We are never alone with this, our mind, and with our research. So we can really share our difficulties. We are share our pains, and then we build up with the people that also like. Well, the curiosity that drives me is the same as you, that you are listening to me. So it's good to always build your professional, personal, and even academic path with these tools, with these programs.
Yeah, thank you, Katarina. No, what I was going to say is that as a former academic, I know very well how difficult it is for people in academia to move out of their comfort zone. And it takes a bit of pushing and all these initiatives like having mentoring, having fellowships, and all this stuff for them is the good push, and to at least try, right? And then eventually the worst that can happen is that they acquire some skills, right? The best is that they acquire some skills, they put them in practice, and they are very useful for their career, whatever it is at the end of the day. We have a very
Marco, can I add something here very quickly?
Yes.
You know, Katarina is really the living example of what we have discussed before, because I met Katarina in Global Food Venture Program in stage 1, where she had, just wanted to learn, gain some skills, explore, no business idea. And then towards the end of the summer school, she approaches me and she says, by the way, I might have an idea coming out of my PhD, which maybe I could pursue. And then she was a winner of the summer school. We took her to stage 2. Then she really created this fantastic Fiber Globe startup project, which she did. She even, ended up talking to industry partners and establishing collaborators. And this startup was born from someone that came with no idea what was in the future for her. and she was inspired, and she was a talented PhD student with a great idea that was born within the program.
Cool. This is very inspiring story. I hope everybody has heard it and and going to apply to your programs. Very last question, because I see that there is one in the Q&A. It's about the business ideas. Since water quality is related to soil nutrition and agri-food, do you accept business ideas on water resource management too?
I can say very quickly, we have had 2 years ago, it was the same cohort like Katerina. We had the business idea on water resource management. Yes.
Yeah, was it Fernando, right?
Yes, it was Fernando, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, Marco, you mentored him. Okay.
Okay, then I would like to thank you all for this presentation, very inspiring. And we are having the next one in more or less 1 month. I copied the link for the registration on the chat, and I'm looking forward to the next presentation too. Thanks to attending this too, to be with us, and I hope to see you soon in the next webinar. Thank you, Mario, Martin, Chris.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.